Today I'm going to be talking about Dark Matter, the new album by Pearl Jam. The album was released on April 19th, 2024 through Monkeywrench and Republic Records. The album was produced by Andrew Watt, who had been producing lots of rock records lately. His most recent albums he had produced were like the ones from the Rolling Stones, Iggy Pop and Ozzy Osbourne. Now he's producing Pearl Jam. I did a few short reviews for the first two singles. You can find them under the Shorts tab on my channel if you want to check them out as well. I actually wasn't blown away by the singles, but this album is actually better than I was expecting it to be. I don't really need to go into any history with this band. You all know who they are. I'm just going to jump right into the songs. There are 11 tracks, and the album is 48 minutes long. The opening track is called Scared of Fear. I thought this was a strong opener. I read a review on a website called AmericanaHighways.org. They called it a guitar and drum track with a fierce Jeff Ament bass track. Eddie Vedder reminisces about the past in the lyrics. I also read a review from SputnikMusic.com, and they said this track had some twangy chords and urgent vocals, and I can definitely agree with that. This band has always had that twangy tone in their guitars. I like that tone. I think overall it's a good rock song. You can hear the guitar very well. I like the production, and I'm listening to the song. I listened a couple times. My third time I listened, we're on headphones, and you can hear everything very clearly. They followed this up with a heavy song called React Respond. So I read another review. It's a website called Montreal Rocks, and they said that the first two songs on this album delivers a 1-2 punch, and I agree. This album has a really strong, 1-2. The first two songs are really good, a really strong opener. I'm glad they kicked off this album with some rockers, because as we go into the album, it's going to vary a little. I like the guitar tone. They're using some different effects, and the song is a really great outro. They kind of basically go nuts on the guitar. It's like a psychedelic shred fest. I guess that's what I want to call it. Ultimate Classic Rock compared Eddie Vedder's scream to that of Roger Daltrey. Thought that was pretty cool. And they said it was reminiscent of the Versus album, which is actually my favorite album. They slowed down with the third song. It's called Wreckage. So I read another review that they compared it to Tom Petty. They mentioned the jangly guitars and the piano. This is more of a rock song. I also read comments comparing it to the songs Daughter and Corduroy. Another commenter said it sounded like a John Cougar Mellencamp type of thing, and I can agree with that. It definitely has that Americana type of sound, but it's still Pearl Jam. You hear the guitars, they're right up front. It's more of a rock song as opposed to the first two that were more heavier. This is more rock. Louder Sound magazine compared this to mid-90s REM, and the lyrics reflect a sense of apathy towards who's right or wrong. Dark Matter was the first single, and I did a short on this. I didn't like the song at first, but I'm starting to get into it. I think I'm enjoying it a little more now. I like it has the heavier guitar chords in the intro. I like that part. I didn't like the vocals. I thought they were maybe a little too low, but maybe I like them a little better now. I think I kind of got used to them. I like the guitar solo in the song. It has a grungy sound, almost like it's going back to the 10 album. And the lyrics are very critical. They're talking about the status quo, and they warn about complacency. Then we have the song Won't Tell. This is one of the poppier songs. This one I read a few negative comments. Some people didn't like it. One person compared it to the band U2. And this is a song that shows off more of their commercial and poppy side, but it still sounds like a Pearl Jam song. I think the guitars and everything else are pretty good. I don't hate it. It's okay. I like the second half of the song. Someone compared it to The Cure. I could hear that. It had that clean guitar tone that was used by those early 80s post-punk bands. I like that second part of the song. Upper Hand is kind of a different type of song. It has that slow build. It has a more ominous tone, and it's very spacey atmospheric. And then the guitar playing is a little more bluesy, and you hear some of that early psychedelic Pink Floyd vibes. Louder Sound magazine praised Mike McCready's guitar work, and they said it was a very powerful performance, and I can agree with that. I really like the song. Waiting for Stevie is a very grungy throwback 90s sounding song. I read a lot of comments, people comparing it to Soundgarden. Actually, I didn't hear it at first, but when you get to the middle of the song, they play these guitar riffs that were reminiscent of Soundgarden, and I felt it was like Soundgarden from the Down on the Upside album, like that type of, type of guitar sound. Running was one of the singles. I did another short review on this one. I didn't like it at first. It was very punk rock sounding. I like it a little better now. It's a short song, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. My main complaint was that the vocals were very low. You couldn't understand what Eddie was saying, but I think that's kind of like what this band does. Like sometimes you just really don't understand him. Louder Sound magazine compared the track to Spin the Black Circle, and I could definitely hear that comparison. Something Special is a little different. It's a little happier, a little more upbeat. It has more of a commercial, radio-friendly sound. The lyrics are very uplifting. It's one of those family-friendly types of songs. This is another one I got a lot of like negative comments, but I like that. I think it has like this bouncy tone. Louder Sound magazine compared it to the song "Kooks" by David Bowie. I wasn't really familiar with that song, but I think it was from his 1971 album "Hunky Dory." The song is about a father giving advice and love to his daughters, and actually Spin magazine called it the best track on the album. Got to Give is a straightforward rock song. Out of all the songs, I don't have much of an opinion about this one. It just kind of sounds like late 90s to early 2000s Pearl Jam. It's okay. I just don't have much to say about it. That's about all. But then we get to the last song, Setting Sun, and I like this one a lot. It brings back those acoustic guitars. I like when they do that strumming, especially from the early 90s albums. They have the different type of drum beat, that different like percussion. It's a laid back song, but the type of song, like if it had been released like in the early 90s, like they would have played it during the MTV Unplugged performance, that type of song. But in the second half of the song, it has more of that rock sound, but I like it a lot. So now for my final thoughts, I like this album better than Gigaton. There is a similarity with Gigaton in this one, is that it has a stronger front half, and then it kind of like wanes a little in the second half. But actually I like the last song, that kind of makes up for it. Pearl Jam, if you've listened to all their albums, they don't really have many perfect albums other than like the first two. I think of like the song, like the album Vitology, that's like 80% great and 20% crap. But this is more like songs I like, songs are okay, I don't hate anything. I think it's worthy of an 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Check out this other Pearl Jam review. I did a review of 10. I'll stick that one right there. Thanks for watching. Please like this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe. If you have not already, I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. I'll see you in the next one.